Question: why are more young Americans embracing socialism? And what does it mean for Democrats when Michigan votes Tuesday and Wisconsin next week?
Joe Sweeenie is a political commentator and an attorney, and he joins us now on set. So great to see you, Joe. Love your videos online. You do a great job of speaking to people about the issues. One of the things that's kind of shocking to me is I remember the fall of the Berlin Wall. And that so much of that was led by young people who didn't want to live under communism, who recognized the danger of socialism. And then you look at the Democrat Party today, and this drift towards the DSA is driven by young people who it's like they want to live under the thumb of authoritarianism.
It's wild to me. And when you mention the Berlin Wall, what I always say is if socialism and communism were better systems than capitalism, why, after the Berlin Wall fell, did they all run to the capitalist side? Yeah. And I think you're right about the younger audiences who are watching Mamdani and these DSA types of folks. It doesn't seem like they're students of history whatsoever, because anyone who understands the 20th century, we know that no civilization's ever taxed itself into prosperity. And we know that government intervention on a long enough scale is only going to plummet a city or a country into peril, just like the fall of the Berlin Wall was the most iconic example of that.
Well, and we have polling numbers that show that Americans may not fully understand socialist policies. We can show that to you if you put it up there. Do Americans understand democratic socialist policies? 49% say yes, 47% say no. Here's my thing, Sweeenie, and that is, and Charlie set it up perfectly. Why are young people running towards it? I think it's because the DSA has so sugar-coated socialism to an area where the free stuff is the debate, but the real goal is a fundamental dismantling of capitalism, government ownership of means of production. And I saw Cori Bush, who was running to reclaim her seat, now fully embracing DSA. She had a soundbite this week saying, I see something and say, what is that? Why don't I have that? I should have that. I want that. That's democratic socialism, guys.
I think you're exactly right. And I think what you just said is people don't realize that nothing's free. The government is funded by our labors. It's our taxes at the end of the year that fund government programs. But I think what I have seen and a lot of people have sensed is this. Mamdani and these folks in the DSA, and we just talked about the numbers of younger folks that are appealing to them, they always identify the problems, right? They're talking about affordability crises. And if you're unawares and you're not really, that adept at what that sort of mischaracterization is, you're like, wow, he's really talking about all these things that I feel. I'm a younger person in New York. I can't afford rent. Yeah. But what they don't talk about is that government intervention is not the correct way to solve those problems. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to identify these problems that young people feel. It's quite another to say that the solution is socialism, which we all know it's not.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us saw Mamdani early on, and we sort of didn't take him seriously. But he does have something going for him. He's a great speaker. He's a little Obama-esque in his talking, right? And he's a good-looking guy, and I think that has really helped propel him. But he's sort of been the entry and kind of the gateway for a lot of people to socialist ideas, and I think they just listen to him. And to your point, they're talking about the problems. Their solutions are very bad, but he seems like our gateway in, and this has been a big problem.
I think he has. A lot of people underestimate and don't give Mamdani the credit that he deserves. You have to give credit where it's due. Yeah. He has been running a clinic on social media. And the example I try to use sometimes is we've seen a lot of figures with a lot of charisma in the 20th century and throughout sort of different examples of socialism. They were also adored because they controlled that propaganda. Right. You're saying, oh, my God, this person's so loved. He's doing finger paintings in elementary schools. He's at Grand Central Station on the marble floors hugging kids and making all these smiling videos.
So we've got to go, but I want to get you to do one thing for me.
Absolutely.
Give us the harshest criticism you can for Republicans who are yelling commie at these candidates, but not reaching young people. What are Republicans doing wrong about in this argument about to win over those people?
It's a brilliant question, and this is the most pressing question right now. What you have to do with someone like Mamdani is you have to meet them somewhere in the middle. And I know that's difficult with the left. You have to say, yes, you are identifying all of these right problems. There is an affordability crisis here in New York. There are people struggling to find homes and find apartments and afford, a loaf of bread. I think if Republicans or conservatives or anyone who considers themselves in the proverbial right Meet in the middle. I think a lot of people say, wow, okay, I understand that there's these problems out there, but there are two different ways to solve them, and government intervention is just not the right method.
Yeah. And
Gotta
do
talk
it
to 'em.
in 60 seconds or less for the young people.
In 60 seconds or less, I would say don't trust the cloud-colored rainbows of Mamdani's gloating, happy in his glib smile that he does. Look at the facts behind what he's doing. And as we all know, I sense the facts of what he's doing. It's a pretty dangerous picture that he's painting, but it's scary because he does all this cloud-colored stuff on social media.
We got to teach history to our kids
that's
as well.
true, too.
Joe, thank you so much.
Sweeney, that was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Come
for
back and
having
see us
me.
again.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, our next guest knows a thing or two about what's cool on 4 wheels.